This conference will now be recorded.
My student 18 class is there, which implements clonable interface, and and we have a constructor and we have a clone method. That's it. And this is my class, and this class I wanted to get it in another class. I'm saying that as implement class. And here I'm creating an object of student. Student S1 is equals to new student. Oh, default package. We have implement class now. Implement class student. This is double one Raj for the student S1, and this is my hash code of S1, and this is my hash code of S2. I have duplicated the object. It doesn't mean that the hash code is same. The hash code is different. Are you getting me? Just we are
Yes.
duplicating the content. This is called shallow. Shallow means you are not going to copy the hash code. Deep cloning is there. Deep cloning means even the object hash code will also be same. That is called deep cloning, but it is not required. Maybe in such cases, if you want to duplicate it, then you can clone it. That's what I have done it. Make sense, Gayatri?
Yes. How is deep cloning done? Like here, we are just calling the method clone. But how is deep cloning done? Is it
So
the same?
deep cloning, when you have to do that, class also has to override a hash code and equals method. Okay, I'll give you that example. Okay,
Okay.
and I'll send you a mail. You can check it out that one. I'll
Okay.
summarize and that you can check it out. So that means where the hash code also we can make it equal. So that is the meaning of it. Hope you got it. What is cloning?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So there is a class called math. There is a class called math, and math is a class where which contains predefined methods to perform simple operations like square roots or any other trigonometric functions. We have, for that reason, they have given a math class. So powers, square roots, logarithms, and expressions. So all these things we have as part of math class. So if at all, if you want to go for it, then you can go for it. If you want to sine theta, cos theta, all the things also we can find it with the help of a math class. Are you getting me?
Yes.
You can use those class for such purpose. Now, coming to the point, we also have something called wrapper class. Any idea about wrapper class?
Yes. So wrapper class is used to convert normal data types into object form.
Yeah, it will convert the primitive types into objects.
Yes, primitive data types.
Converts the primitive values into objects and objects into primitives if you want to convert. See, the thing is the Java is not purely object oriented. So because we have primitives, they are not stored as an objects. Primitives, they are just normal data types. So they thought that what if in case we want to store primitives also, not instead of values, we want to store them as an objects. When you're retrieving from the storing the values to the database, some case primitives they're going to store in terms of Java, we have to retrieve one in terms of, again we have to convert it as a normal values, but all of them I want to read it as an object so that I can perform some additional operations, like I can if I can what do you say, some methods if I want to write it, some other executions if I want to go ahead, then I need to make it this primitive values also objects. For that reason they have given wrapper classes. These are a primitive. For every primitive they have created a class. This is my wrapper class. For a character we have capital C. Everything with the class name with the capital C, that is called class, wrapper class. For int we have integer. So the purpose of this thing says we can treat it as a normal objects. That's the reason we have a wrapper class. When you talk about wrapper classes, we need to talk about something called autoboxing and unboxing. Any idea about autoboxing and unboxing?
Mm, yeah. So autoboxing is basically making primitive data types into objects, and then unboxing is again from objects to primitive data.
So here we don't need to particularly auto-generated methods it is. See, if I say an example, you can see here over here. We are not going to do explicitly. Autoboxing is internally it happens. See, int a equal to 20, and here you would like to convert it as an object. You have to write like this: integer dot value of a. But you don't need to write it explicitly. You don't need to write the code. You can directly give a wrapper class name, and give the variable, and you can make it a sign. Then automatically that will be converted as an object, which we are not going to convert it. That's called autoboxing. Autoboxing is nothing but we are not going to convert a primitive value directly into integer objects. It will be converted automatically when you assign. That's the meaning of
Okay.
autoboxing.
So there's no auto unboxing.
Unboxing is nothing but an integer value is there. An integer value I would like to, sorry, an object is there. This is my object. I want to convert into a normal primitive. So to do that, I have to say like this a dot into value previously, but I don't need to do that now. Directly int j equal to a, if I do that, automatically it happens. There is some internal code. So that is called unboxing. Unboxing is nothing but object to integer you are going to convert it. For that, we are not going to write any methods, which it's going to override internally. That's the meaning of unboxing. So when you say autoboxing is nothing but primitive to object, internal process is nothing but autoboxing. Object to primitive, internal process, it's nothing but unboxing. So that means we can assign object value to direct primitives to objects. They are avoiding the coding part. This line of coding, create an object, and we don't need to do that. If it is an object, we can convert into directly primitives. If it is a primitive, we can convert directly into object by using a wrapper classes. That's it. There is nothing specific about wrapper classes. Hope you understood.
Yes.
Any questions?
No.
Okay.
No.
Call by value, call by reference, or recursion. Are you aware of recursion? What is recursion?
Yeah. Function calling itself.
Multiple times or repetitively, some function should be executed repetitively to perform some action. Then we call it as recursion. Repetitive action should be done. So to perform repetitive action, we are going to use what do you say, recursion. So recursion is here is talking about infinite times. Infinite times means until you press something. So you're going to give that is infinite times. It is finite times. Finite means you're going to give certain limit. See static void p when I say, and again internally p I say, and now if I call the p method, what happens is it will be called. It will perform an increment of a value of 5, and that will be performed until how long it has to perform. That's the question. Initially we have assigned value 0. So 0 and till 5 it is going to perform. So that means we are going to increment it. We were going to recurse that function certain limit. When you're going to make it recursion certain limit, then you need to pass condition. So this is called recursion finite times. So this kind of things basically use it to find out some factorial of a number or Fibonacci series, any logical things if you want to perform, then this recursion thing will be useful. Suppose if I would like to perform factorial of a number, so automatically 5 after 4, 4 after 3, 3 after 2, 2 after 1 it has to repeat, and after 1 it has to discontinue. For that reason, what we are going to do is into factorial some number we are going to pass it 5 or 6. If I pass it, what am I doing is I am performing here what do you say, the recursion return factorial n minus 1 every time. How many times it has to return? Until it is going to equal to 1. So that is about recursion. Call by value we have seen recursion value by value we are going to call it. by passing value. Another example of call by value. We have a function change and int data, and this function we are going to call it. So what we are doing is I'm going to call it by passing different inputs. Call by value, local variable only. Okay, data equal to 100. So the local variable. Now if I call 500, if I set it, then what will happen is 500 plus 100, that will be 600. Before change, op.data. After change, when I pass it op.data, so this is my variable. What is this? This is a global variable. So this variable value is 50, and this variable value, when I call the method, I'm going to change it. That is call by value. After change, what it will be? We didn't use this keyword.
Sorry?
We didn't use this keyword here.
No.
If we use this keyword, then only the changes will be getting affected, right?
Yes.
Data and operation 2. There are very rare cases I will use. Check it out, logical things, these are all Gayatri. Okay.
Yes.
So anything about strict FP, strict floating point. Floating point means we know that Java is a platform independent, and it gives the same result. If in case, what if I have a decimal number, big decimal number, and I want that exact same number 1.56789107, 78910, some number is there. The same digits I want it compulsory in my to my other to our same result it has to give in some other platform also. So basically it gives maybe some rounding of the number it may give. There may be a chance. So we want to avoid that one. So if you want to avoid when you have a factorial decimal numbers or something, then we can go for strict FP. So this can be applied on methods, classes, and interfaces. If it has any content, we'll get the same result on every platform if you perform operations by using floating point variable. If your class contains floating point related stuff, and to make sure that I want on any platform, it might be any platform, strict to that platform. It might be any platform, make sure that the same result should be given, including the decimal, no roundings or nothing. The decimals should be exactly given. So that's the reason if you have such kind of thing, your class or your method, you're going to make it as a strict FP. So strict FP cannot use it for integer values. It can be illegal combination, abstract combination we cannot use. Or the modifier strict FP is not allowed for the constructors. So to where it is allowed, to the class, to the interface, okay, to the method of a class, you can use it. Are you getting me? Gayatri?
Yes.
Any questions?
No.
Java doc tool, documentation. I want to make it an API. I want to prepare some documentation. If you see, if something goes wrong, we'll ask them to see documentation. Documentation is nothing but the complete history of that class. Documentation is nothing but complete history of a class. Can I create a documentation for my classes? Yes. That means you are going to you have some class contains method. So we'd like to make a documentation. Okay, this class is user defined class and this class contains the method cube. So these are all the information we want to make it. And what we have to do is you have to say java doc m.java. So this is the file which you have to share it. This is called documentation. Documentation is nothing but what are the methods it is contained. For the developer purpose, when the developer has entered into the organization, they'll ask for the coding documentation. They have UI documentation, apart from that, the coding documentation. That means what class contains what methods. We don't see the implementation. We need only documentation, means what methods it contains, what interface has what variables. So these are all the things you are going to create a document. Means that it contains some lines of code, manual code. That is called your documentation. Are you getting me?
Yes.
For a class, you can generate a documentation. So that
So,
class, sorry.
so if I want to create document for this Java, then this is the syntax Java doc
Yes.
class dot Java.
Yeah, Java doctor, you have to
And
say.
and document is like just a file, not a folder which contains multiple classes, right?
Document is an API. See, you have developed a project, and this project is containing Java classes, and this is a class to be executed. But the thing is, this class I wanted to prepare as a documentation, means to give someone for to refer what are the methods it contains and what classes it contains, and some simple functionality. So that is we are going to give it. That is what is an API. Even if you are working with the JDBC also, you need a jar file. That is nothing but your that is a document. JDBC API will call it as. So what does it contains? It contains some set of classes. So that classes you are going to use them in your things. You are going to make it as an API. API is nothing but application program interface, which contains set of methods and all. So you should know you have to implement them. That's what is an API. So you are going to also, being a developer, you are also going to prepare some APIs. Okay.
Yes.
So for the future reference, we have some APIs. What are the APIs? JDBC API, Hibernate. We have some APIs. So if it is a combination of APIs, then it is called a framework. If it is a single one, then we call it as a API. That's it. Makes sense?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Give me a minute. So try to prepare some document, Gayatri. So command line argument in Java. Hello.
Yes.
So if you want to pass any arguments, see if you want to pass any arguments to command line, that means you have public static void main, right? So
Yes.
your main method has a from your main method we can pass arguments. So to pass the arguments, what I have to say, at the time of compilation itself, I'm going to give some values. That is called command line argument. Java A, okay, sorry. After compilation, run by, I'm saying Java, Sonu, JSWAL, whatever it may be, 13 ABC. These are all arguments. These are all arguments. So if I want to pass these arguments in my Eclipse, then I have to say, run as configurations, and go to the arguments. And here you have to pass your arguments, whatever it may be, name, anything, if you want to perform hello. These are all command line arguments. Are you getting me? But
Yes.
there must be some specific purpose. But I'm not using anything over here. Okay, so this guy is using them, but I'm not using that application. Here, what is doing this? He's reading the values and he is printing the values. Args dot length. The length of that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the length you will get it, and until the length is there, we are asking it as it is a string. So we are going to print it. Args of 5. Args of 5 is first one is Sonu, second is Jaiswal. So till the length is there, it's going to print it. If you want, you can use it. Otherwise, we don't need it. These are called command line arguments. Are you getting me?
Yes.
At the time of running of your application, you want to give some input to your main method. Then you'll call it as command line arguments. That's it, Jyoti. So far, sorry, Gayatri, that's it. So far, you have any questions?
No.
You're okay with that?
Yes.
That's fine. That's fine. So far we have discussed all the basic stuffs, and now comes packages, modifiers, encapsulation. Now come to the point, strings exception handling. Okay, there are certain questions I'll ask you now. So what is an object in terms of you?
Object. Object is a physical representation of a class.
Okay. How many objects we can create?
How many? As many as we want.
I wanted to use the same name to create a multiple objects. Is it possible?
No.
Same name
No.
for creating multiple objects.
No. Every object is unique.
You know arrays, right?
Yes.
What is an array?
Array is a collection of same data type elements.
Can't your array should be collection of objects of same type?
Yes, it can be.
It can be.
It can be.
So can you try an example?
Yeah.
Show it to me in the next class.
Yes.
Hmm?
Yes.
Collection of objects using an array. Okay,
Yes.
fine. And now the point is, I would like to say you, yesterday I told you some work, probably.
Yeah, I did it.
You did it, right?
Should I send it to your mail?
No, share me your screen. Can you share me your screen?
Just a minute.
Shall I make you presenter? Yeah,
I,
guys.
I think there's an option here. Just a minute.
I'm sending you a request. Just click on that.
Okay.
Gayatri, I've sent you a request. Did you? You just have to accept it. That's it.
Yeah, I accepted it. I think. Can you see my screen?
No, not yet.
Now? No.
Probably now it is coming. Yeah. 50421. I can see your screen.
Yeah. So this is the program.
Program I
So
cannot.
yeah, it will take. Pro. You
I
can't
can.
see the program. Okay, just a minute. Yeah. Now can you see it?
Yes, I can see.
Okay. So, it will. This program takes number of rows and columns using scanner, and then it takes values again using scanner for A matrix and B matrix, and then it adds and puts the values on C, and as it puts, it outputs the values. And finally, I'm closing the scanner.
Can you run the application?
Yes. So that's the result of adding.
I'm sorry.
So that's the result of adding.
Wonderful.
Enter the number of rows, columns, A and B, and then result.
Nice, nice, very nice. So I hope you got it. Like I asked you to collection of objects of array. Now
Yeah, I
I
got.
told I told you that today marker interface. Keep that point in mind.
Okay, yes.
What is marker interface?
No methods. No methods in interface.
So clonable is an interface, right?
Yes, yes.
What is the method it contains?
Clonable. Clone.
It contains what is the method it contains? Clonable interface.
Clone. Clone is a method.
Clone is the method it contains, right?
Yes.
Clonable, I told you that marker interface.
Yes. Yes.
And now, when you say marker interface, there is no method you're saying. And again, it contains clone method you're saying. How come, Gayatri?
You said that it takes that method from the super parent class, object class.
So then how come it is there in the clonable? Did you understand my question?
Yes, yes, because clonable is child to object class. Because every class is child to object class. So by default, every class gets those properties,
Okay,
methods.
class gets it, but I'm talking about that is an interface. Interface is not a subclass of object, right?
Yes.
So clonable has any methods or not?
You said it does not have any.
You said not. I marker interface. I said that means that's
Yes.
it. No, you should say confidently.
Yes, it does not have.
No methods. Clonable has any methods?
No,
Why?
because it's marker interface.
That's it. That is it. Got my point?
Yeah, so it's true, right, that it gets its clone method from object class. Is it right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
We are, why? Because our class is implementing. Our class is there now already. We are writing
Yes.
implementing clonable interface means student class implementing. Student is a class. Student can clone. You use the method clone method because that is not a part of clonable. Understand that one, right?
Yes. Yes.
That is a class. That's the reason it's getting a method. But it is. I want to make sure. Okay.
Yes.
At the time when you are studying, I mean not you. When we are studying, we have clonable interface. We'll be discussing marker interface. Marker interface. They used to say marker interface means no methods. So when there is no methods, why do they have to provide implementation? I don't used to get a clarity. Later I got a clarity. So there are some things, after 5 6 years of development also you don't get it until you see an implementation, until you understand. You'll apply some after 4 or 5 years. You'll apply your common sense. It's like that. Java is such a wonderful thing. I'm saying my experience. I think it's
Yes.
such a
Yes.
wonderful thing. So there is the logical thing, and also and some we have to apply some of our common sense also here. There are such areas you'll face such kind of things. See, example I'll tell you. You'll go for an interview. Suppose you have learned the Java and all core, servlets, JSP, Spring, Hibernate, all the things you have learned. And you have gone to interview. They'll ask you what is the difference between a interface and abstract class.
Yes.
And whatever you say, they'll not be happy. How much ever you say, they'll not be happy. Hmm?
Yes.
Well, what do you say, Gayatri? What is the difference between abstract and interface?
Abstract basically has at least like one unimplemented method. Interface has all of the methods unimplemented. Means all the methods just declared, not defined.
So if you say this, they don't accept it. They'll understand, okay, she's a fresher. I'm
But
telling you that you need to see a project. When you really done a couple of examples, what you get a knowledge. See, okay, you got it. So when you will use an abstract class, suppose you are working in a project, when you will go for an abstract class, when you will go for an interface. That's what is their question. When it,
interface,
huh?
yeah. Interface, I'll use it when we just have template. When I want interface to be a template which can be implemented later with different kind of implementation. Extend is basically to is like a parent class, so both are related.
Mhm. Still analysis is required. Go for much examples. Okay. Much implementation. You know what?
Yes.
So the toughest part in the Java, not Spring Boot, core Java. The toughest part in the Java is core Java, I'm telling you.
Okay.
Because we have such kind of implementation. We have such kind of implementation in the core part. And we have such kind of in-depth knowledge as part of the core Java.
Yes.
So that's the reason core Java we need to focus much. Any interviewer will start only with the core. They'll see the core part only. Technically, the twist and the different things they have to ask you, they can only ask you the core part. Majorly exceptions, majorly collections, and interface and abstract classes. We'll say simply abstract classes are only one man. No, 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 no. You have to grow up more experience, more examples you have to do. Then you'll be getting to know. Are you getting me?
Yes.
More the examples and more these things, then you'll be understanding what is really happening. When you have free time, just execute a couple of examples. Make sense, Gayatri?
Yes.
Hmm. So, wrapper class I taught you, right? Wrapper class, that is implementing clonable interface. Oh, sorry, one more thing I would like to tell you. Serializable. Have you heard about serializable?
No.
Clonable in interface, right? Serializable is also an interface. Remember that.
Okay.
Clonable interface, serializable interface. These two are marker interfaces. What these two are?
I can't see your screen. Are you
I will
showing
share my
something on
screen.
your screen?
Okay, these two are marker interfaces.
No, I can't see your screen.
There are two interfaces. One is clonable and another is serializable. These two are marker interfaces. What are those two?
Marker interfaces.
Which are those?
They belong to clonable object interface.
Clonable and serializable. Are you getting me? Clonable, serializable. Hello?
Yes.
Clonable and serializable.
Yes.
Both are marker interfaces. Now string. What is string? String
Collection of characters.
collection of characters. How do you create a string? There are two ways we can create a string. By using a literal or by using a new keyword, right?
Yes.
So what is the difference if I use a keyword and if I don't use a keyword? Any idea?
No.
Have you heard about immutable class?
Yes. The class which cannot be overridden. I mean, which cannot be extended.
Classes cannot be overridden, classes can be extended.
Cannot be
Methods can
extended.
be overridden. Are you getting me?
Yes.
So these things I'm going to start up on the next session about strings. Now today's part is I wanted you to give me more examples on interfaces and abstract classes, and also work on final, and also check it with comparable. What are marker interfaces? Today's task was just note down comparable. Sorry, what are marker interfaces, and what are the final classes, immutable classes? Why? What do you mean by immutable classes? And how do you clone an object? So these are the things. And interfaces and abstract. Give me some coding examples and get some good knowledge and get back to me in the tomorrow session. And then I'll start up with the strings tomorrow. Probably next session is exceptions. Strings is over, exceptions, and threads, and then collections. Once the collections is over, we'll be jumping into JDBC. And before JDBC, okay, one day I'll discuss with Java 8 features, which is really important. We have new features. What's they have been added? We are learning Java 8. So you must and should have to have Java 8 knowledge. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Any questions for me, Gayatri?
No.
You don't have any questions, right?
I have just one question. I kind of feel like interface is kind of